I'm going to insight video again today. I've been talking a lot about like self-realization principles, and sort of like how these can be used as like guides and as insights for wisdom within this reality to help us live as creators within our own creation. They also helps us remain in another principle, which is all of your power is in the now moment. And what this means is infinite creation is always happening here now, and there's no beginning, there's no end. In that eternal moment, in that infinite sort of moment of creation and the eternal moment of now, there is no separation. There is only one. And oneness is the key to everything. I mean, I talk about oneness a lot, um, and it's one of the things that when through my insight and through wisdom and through my own journey of sort of like expression within this reality, oneness is something that always keeps coming back. And I feel like whenever you're guided or any or guidance or information or wisdom that comes through, it's always about oneness. It's always saying there's no separation. It's saying, in this now moment, in the power of now, that everything is connected and everything is one. Nothing is ever separate. And if you look beyond the surface stuff that's happening in your reality, you can see the wisdom and the insight and the that is sort of like guiding you, which is this oneness. And it's telling you that you are this being of infinite creation consciousness, and that everything's happening for you, through you, and as you. And what you call the universe, it's not something that's separate of you. It's separate from you. It is you. All that creation, all that consciousness, all that vibration, that frequency is you. That is your true nature. That is your true essence. And this is source energy. And each and every one of us has this gift that we've been given. And when we come down from infinite dimensions and realities into this reality, we've come with sort of like with a purpose. One is to awaken and bring insight and wisdom and remain connected to our infinite selves, which is the bigger aspect of self that remains in those higher dimensions, or those not the higher but infinite dimensions of wisdom and understanding that are very close to source energy and source creation. And this infinite self is also the part of self that we receive, or we align with, what people call it, universal teachers, universal guides, um, angels, all that kind of thing. That infinite self is the aspect of self, the higher consciousness, the higher wisdom that remains in that reality, that also keeps us connected to that reality. So when we're in this reality, we're not separate, because that aspect of self is still there and it's still connected within those infinite dimensions and realities. So one of the purposes of this sort of like journey is to express and expand beyond the human self into the infinite self, and live and express through the infinite self with source energy and source vibration. And then that's where you start to work as and live and express as a creator within your own creation. And this is one of the principles, that you are the creator of your own creation. And this other sort of concept of the principle that you're everything you wish to be, you already are. It tells you that there is nothing to attain, that you've always been this being of infinite potential, infinite light, infinite consciousness. And a lot of beings come to this reality and get caught up in like what you call the 3D reality, the out there reality, the physical reality. And you come here and then you become dormant, and you sort of like get caught up in the physical expression of reality, not the infinite creation and potential of the now moment that's here now. That each and every one of us hold that source code, that source vibration, that source frequency. And we can live beyond the third dimension. We can live in the fifth and the sixth dimension. So the sixth dimension I see is we're creation and creator, and the fifth dimension is heaven on earth, and they are linked, because the creator is the aspect of self, the source energy that knows that within you, this infinite self, that there's infinite vibrations and frequencies that you can create, and you can create anything. You can create anything within your reality. You and again, one of the principles says, you get more of what you are, not what you want. So again, that's another principle. When you start looking at it like that, in that way, it's saying everything has to be like a seed of creation has to be created within you. And once you create that seed of creation within you, then that becomes part of your reality. But it has to start within you. So it's knowing again that that seed is the consciousness and the wisdom and the understanding that you are the creator. Like all reality is only a reflection of what you're creating, what vibration, what frequency you're expressing through you. And no, and this, so in those infinite dimensions and realities, consciousness and creation happens in an instant, because of the vibration and frequency of the energy frequency that you have when you're not in a physical body. So, but this is the same here. It's just that the energy is it takes longer to manifest, not even manifest, but to create. I don't even like the word manifest, because again, I've talked about this before. A lot of people talk about, there's different pathways within in spiritual expression and reality. That's the way I'm going to say it. I'm not even going to say like journeys and stuff like that and pathways. I say the word pathway, but there's lots of expressions in spiritual creation and consciousness and spiritual reality, and each being is vibrating on a different, or not on an aspect, not even different, but aspect of that infinite vibration, that infinite frequency. And this is with oneness. Again, oneness is really important in the way that you don't see separation. And it's easy to label things, to say, oh, there's a different, or that's higher, or that's lower. And all of that is moving away from oneness, because oneness is an infinite frequency and vibration that expands and retracts, and expands and retracts just in this one vibration, this one frequency, and there's infinite sort of there's infinite frequencies within that one frequency, and these are infinite realities. These are infinite creation that can be created. You as a creator have all these things available to you, these infinite potentials there. Different aspects, and like, so when people use words like next level you and it's just an expansive expression, sort of like frequency of creation. It's not even like the next, because there isn't really next, there's just one. And again, this is again about oneness. Is when you change your language, you change your frequency, you open up, and then you start to express and create from one vibration, one frequency. And within that moment, that power of now, everything is always available, and everything can always be shifted, aligned. It can be unified, and it can be created at any moment. And this is what oneness is. It brings an infinite expression, that can be that can be sort of like aligned with, and then can be expressed and created at any time. So there is no limitation. The limitation is only in our mind, and it depending on what frequency or consciousness you're aligning with, depends on whether you've got an infinite potential, or infinite perspective, or you've got a limited perspective. Because a limited perspective comes from when you see things happening out there, seeing things happening to you. And if you see it like that, then you're living in a 3D consciousness, where you see that everything is happening to you, and nothing is moving through you, as you, and for you. You're just seeing it happening to you. And again, this is a shift in consciousness, and this is the shift in when you start aligning with the power of now. You understand in that now moment, everything is available. It always has been, and it always will be, because it never stops. It's never like limited. It's infinite. The infinite potential is always there, and all you have to do is express and live from it. And be consciously, and it's all about consciousness. Because another one is, consciousness brings energy into form, and that sort of like creates reality. So again, this is like a principle, like the formula for consciousness and creation. The formula for creation is consciousness. When you bring consciousness you shift your consciousness, then you bring energy in, and when you bring energy in, it vibrates, and energy creates reality. So that's like the formula for creation, and it's coming in, and it's working with us all the time. And this is this is like when you start living in oneness, and the infinite perspective, and the infinite dimensions and realities. You understand that everything is coming through you, for you, and as you. It's working for you. It's always bringing you back to the infinite potential, and the infinite opportunities, and the infinite perspective of that which you are. You are not limited. You are infinite. You always have been. And the only thing that limits us is when we're in human form. We see things, and we think that we're this physical being that is limited, and we're not. Another thing I was thinking about the other day is, when you're like channeling, or like consciousness and creation, and information's coming in, sometimes, you know, you have these thoughts and you think, where did that come from? Or what that thought, any kind of thought that's in sort of like relation to awareness around consciousness, creation, spiritual reality, or dimensions, or anything like that. This is coming or aligning with you from your infinite self. So when you have physical sort of thoughts and feelings about what am I going to have for dinner and have I got enough money, that's not your infinite self. But when you're having like thoughts and feelings about spiritual philosophy and understanding about consciousness and creation and reality and how you can live in more harmony and peace and deep peace and things like that, that's all your infinite self. So what I'm trying to say by this is the word infinite self has many aspects to it. As a channel, it can be really expansive, and you know, there can be information flowing constantly, which there is, because there's always guidance coming in, there's always consciousness and creation coming in, that we're always aligned to source energy, and the many reflections of source energy, which is again angels, guides, universal teachers, masters, whatever you align or attune to, are always giving us information, always giving us wisdom. We're always open channels. We always have been. We're all channels. No, and it like there's different aspects of channels. When they talk about the roles of the soul, they talk about different roles. They talk about like messengers, people that receive messages and wisdom and consciousness for like all beings, which is a collective sort of perspective where we're trying to shift the planet, shift the vibration of the frequency of the planet. All beings. Um, Seers, another role of the soul is a seer, and a seer is like somebody that sees beyond the physical. So this could be mediums, you know, psychics, healers, empaths, you know, clairvoyance, all that kind of stuff. And but we are all that. We all are aspects of the soul. You know, there's another one called the way shower that lives physically, expresses physically, and by living through like physical like creation and consciousness, you one align your own sort of experience and expression, but you also align with others as well. And there's many aspects. There's many aspects to like the roles of the soul, and this is the same for each and every one of us. We're all channels. We all have aspects of these roles of the souls within us, and we're all sort of like we're all receiving information all the time. And when you start to receive stuff, um, thoughts around spiritual reality and spiritual consciousness and dimensions and things like that, I guarantee you that is coming from your infinite self. You open up as a channel. Even one thought, that is an opening. That's an opening as like a key of conscience, unlocking a door, unlocking a vibration, a frequency to new expression, new awareness. And I'm saying this because I think a lot of people, you know, you're waiting for something to happen when it's already happening and always has been. And it's like this concept again of this first principle: you everything you wish to be, you already are. And when you start to see that, then you start to open up and you start to realize it's always been here for me, and it is part of me. It's what I am. And you know, again, this is, you know, people talk about this concept of like manifestation and the principle of like I am presence, which is this infinite sort of vibration and frequency. Well, it is the I am aspect is knowing that what you are. You've always been this infinite being of vibration and frequency, of source energy, source consciousness. You've always been it. You may have become dormant, and you may have like through some of the energy around you and the expression and the consciousness, you know, it might have been sort of like, you know, you might not have been as aware as you could be, but we all have that essence in us. We're all born with it. We're all sort of like, or we all incarnate with it. And so with that energy, that source energy, that infinite potential, that infinite expression. So when you get these thoughts around spiritual consciousness and creation, know that you are a channel, and you are opening up as a channel. And each and every one of us, the more we open up as channels, the more we open up to our infinite selves, the more we receive insight and wisdom to express and live consciously and as creators. And that is the purpose of why we're here, is to be creators and express that consciousness and that creation of that source energy and source vibration. And this is what leads to what many people call heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is the expression and the understanding that you are a creator of your own reality, and you create through consciousness. But there's no separation between all realities. So heaven is really these infinite realities, and it's the understanding that you are a being that is from these realities, and you're still part of these realities. You're not separate, so you can create those realities here now, in your own reality, in your own expression, in your own life. There is nothing limited. Everything is infinite. So another principle, I'll just leave you with this one. If you resist one thing, you resist all things. And again, this is a direct sort of lesson of oneness again. If you resist one thing, you resist all things. Well, what that's saying is, if you resist one thing, you're not open. You're not open to receive, because you're thinking you're limited. So, but if you open to all things, then you open to all infinite possibilities, potentials, and there's no resistance. So there's only the flow of source energy into creation and consciousness. Well, that's the insight for today. Have a great day. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Bye for now.